I lost 4 million shillings because I borrowed 600,000. Some of you could be wondering, how can you lose 4 million just because of 600,000? I lost 4 million because I borrowed 600,000. And I want to explain to you how courts work in collaboration with Shylocks and lawyers to steal your money. Because some of you don't know how this thing works. When you see a Shylock is not working independently. When you see them advertising that logbook loans and they are advertising how they want to give you money, they are not just Shylocks. These people are working with lawyers, they are working with courts, they are working with some regulatory bodies to fleece you. And if they lend you money and by bad luck you fail to pay, they will come for your property and they will exploit all the legal justice systems, and there's nowhere you will go. And so I want to help you understand how this system works. And I wish this video reaches every Kenyan with property so that you can understand. Any Kenyan, as long as you own land, you have a car, you have a house, or you have anything that you call your own, and you are in need of money, please listen to me and please understand how to deal with Shylocks and borrowing and lending and all that. Now, before I talk about myself, I want to help you understand how justice is not found within the judiciary. There's no justice within the courts. And I want to use the example of Kenyans who contributed more than 1 billion because they wanted to go outside the country. Politicians stole that money. And the person with influence in the process of stealing that money was Mandago, okay? So the case went to court, and one of the prime suspects in the process of stealing 1 billion, 1 billion is not pocket change. The person who has a lot of influence in this is Mandago, who was taken to court. And what did the courts do? They cleared him. I think they said there is no evidence. So when you look at the whole case, the man got justice, and he got it backdoor. What does that tell you about the judiciary? And to confirm my case, I want to talk about what Oscar Sudi posted. Oscar Sudi is a close confidant of the president. This is a prominent politician, a person who knows every corner of this country, a person who, if you ask about even the Kenyan economy, even though people say he's not educated, but he knows because the president is just a phone call away from Oscar Sudi. So Oscar Sudi has a lot of power and influence in this country. And he was the one who was pushing for the parents and children to get their 1 billion that was lost. But what does Oscar Sudi do? He goes to social media, just like a normal person like me, and he complains that Mandago bought the courts. He complains that Mandago got justice through backdoor. That means that people whose money was lost have no justice. Now, imagine a confidant of the president, a prominent politician, a person who knows a lot about this country, can go crying on social media because courts made a decision that did not align with what he expected. So if Oscar Sudi, who I believe is a billionaire, can complain about Kenyan courts and how judges and magistrates and lawyers are bought, what about me, who is not even a thousandaire, if such a thing exists? So it means that even billionaires in this country cannot get justice. They can be defeated by fellow billionaires who have more money to buy magistrates and to buy lawyers. It's not me saying, it's the post of Oscar Sudi saying that Mandago paid millions of shillings to lawyers and bought magistrates. This is what it said. Now, if we leave the case of Oscar Sudi aside, look at the case of this guy who was called Defao. Defao's house worth 30 million Kenya shillings was brought down. A house worth 30 million. How many Kenyans can build houses worth 30 million? And this man does not have one home. He has multiple homes. So this is a person who even has a billion, I believe so. And when his house was brought down, he was told, you can go to court. You can go to court so that you can get justice. What did he say? He told Oga Obina, I cannot go to Kenyan courts because Kenyan courts are compromised. So from these two cases, we can see that justice is not found in the judiciary. Judiciary is a den of corruption. So if anybody does something to you, that somebody has come to take your land, somebody has come to take your car, somebody has come to take your property, and you go to court and they have more money than you, they can buy judges, they can buy lawyers, and you will get a raw deal, and they will go away with your property. That is the business model of Shylocks. Shylocks work in such a way that they identify first a judge they can work with, then they identify lawyers that they can work with, then they try to manipulate the legal justice system to make sure that once they take your property, there's nowhere you can go, and you have a very slim chance of winning. The only way you can win is if you have more money to bribe now within the legal justice system, to bribe more people. Are you getting my point? For my case, I started experiencing financial problems when my shop was stolen from. You remember when I told you that I borrowed money, then I put into business, hoping that I would combine income from the business and my own money to settle the loan. Now, I desperately needed money, and I felt like if I get money, I can pay it back immediately. Now, when you need money immediately and you've never engaged in borrowing, I was not this person who borrows money a lot, so I borrowed 600,000 thinking that it is just like any other loan. I did not understand the importance of signing. You see, they say that learn from other people's experiences and all that, but for me, I was a fool. Let me accept. I was a fool to sign a document I did not understand. The interest rate was more than 10% per month. Not per year, not per half a year, per month. And so if he's giving me 600,000, it means that interest per month is 60,000 Kenya shillings. Now, I didn't realize that if you delay to pay even by 1 day, this money jumps and then it goes to by 120,000. Now that is interest on the money that you are given. So within 2 months, this money goes to 120,000, and if you delay to pay again, it goes to 180,000. That is where my financial problems, bro, arose, because I could not settle this money the way it was supposed to be settled. And then when they started demanding for this money, then I said, no, this is too much. Can we moderate this? And I just went mute because I was confused. What do you do? Because when you talk to one person, he says that we have other stakeholders, they will restructure the loan, and then the loan, I just left the whole thing. Then they went to small claims court. Now, in the small claims court, I felt like if they go to small claims court, the small claims court will demand that I pay 1 million, which is more favorable than paying 600,000 that had ballooned to 2 million. Okay? You know, these are the details that when people talk about me and that loan, they don't talk about it. The interest was 10% per month, and the amount started ballooning at a rate that I could not even manage. And so I said, if the court approves that I pay, small claims court is just 1 million, and I'll pay that money. So I waited. So these guys go to court, and then they serve me with a statement of claim. And what do? I travel to Nairobi, because this case was being heard in Nairobi. And I did not want an advocate, because when you are in a small claims court, most likely you don't even need an advocate. If you are admitting that you have money, why do you need an advocate? Let me go, admit that I have money, then we will have what we call a judgment on admission. Then we will see how do you pay back this money. Okay, if it is a execution, then the court can give directions on how execution will happen. I am open to that. I was okay with the court, because I felt like I could get justice in the court. Hey, little did I know. You know, I'm holding property worth over 4 million, and I have a debt of 600,000. I have never been auctioned in my life. I have never borrowed and failed to pay. So this is the first time I'm defaulting on loan. I have never undergone this legal justice system. So I don't understand how these things work. So I traveled to Nairobi to go and attend the court. Then when I reach the court, very interesting, I want to give you accurate information. When I reach the court, they tell me this court is online. It is not offline. There is no place where you will visit and be told that this is the court. If you want to attend court, go online. This is the link. You know, they are telling me, and that is the day I'm supposed to attend court, and it is at 8. And I have reached the court physically. And they tell me that this judge does not come to court. You are supposed to attend online. Then I opened the link. The good thing is that I took screenshots. I opened the link. I'm still in the court. Then I open the link. Then I see the judge there. I see lawyers. They are discussing several cases. Now I look, then they reach my case. They reach my case, and then I start talking. Then the judge says, mute Gideon, mute Gideon. And I ask, what is the problem? I am the judgment debtor in this case, and the claimant's advocate is there. And so what is the problem? And then the judge tells me, talk to your advocate. Talk to your advocate. I say I don't have an advocate. I filed to appear in person. I am here in person. I have opened the link. Now I saw the claimant's advocate there. Then the judge says, mute Gideon, mute Gideon. And so I think that it's just a simple thing. Later, I find they say that I did not attend court. And I wonder, how didn't I attend court? When you told them to mute me, and there is no physical court where I can attend. Then I said, let me wait for judgment. As expected, they put a default judgment on my case. The case that I attended court, but they muted me. They put a default judgment. Then I said, it's okay. Now, how much money? 1 million Kenya shillings. Very cheap. I can pay that. If they want that, then we can settle that. Now, I did not know about e-filing. You know, when you are taken to court the first time, a lot of people who have never gone to court, they don't know about e-filing, by the way. A lot of people don't know about e-filing. And for me, I did not know about e-filing. I only received a statement of claim from in my email, and I went to court physically where I was given the link. I have never been taken to court anywhere. So I don't know about e-filing. I don't know the things that they filed there. So I go to Kakamega and I keep quiet. Then I start waiting for them to serve me with anything to show that I'm supposed to pay 1 million. Because if this person starts asking for their money, this Shylock, the money has ballooned to an extent that I cannot pay. Now, out of the blues, I hear that they are auctioneers and they are taking my property. And they're just taking my property. They have come with the police officers. They have come with the people they call DCIs. They have these walkie-talkies. Some of them have guns, I think, according to how I was told. And then they are taking my property. Then I'm asking myself, where are you taking the property? I call him. I ask, where are you taking it? They say, no, we just want to put it in safe custody so that we can go to court and do what? And I tell him, it's okay. It's okay. For your cars, I want to put track on them. Then I say, it's okay. There's no problem. You can put track on them. Then they enter my vehicles and they start driving away. And then I wait to see what will happen. Nothing. I communicate to him. He's talking nicely. He's a very good guy, by the way. He's not a very terrible guy. He talks nicely to me. Then I believe he has good intentions. But this guy has very terrible intentions. So I go to court. That is the first time I learn about something we call e-filing. They ask me, did you check your e-filing? I say, I don't know. What is e-filing? They say that e-filing is where the cases can be tracked. All the documents are there. Then they tell me, open. Then I open. Then I find that the judge put their attachment, attached my property, and then he told them to serve me proclamation, and it's a demand and proclamation, and then advertise my property within 15 days and then sell. Then I ask myself, if the judge said this, then the judge said the right thing. Then why have they not served me anything? Why have they not advertised anywhere within the stipulated period of time? And then they want to sell these things in a very shoddy manner. Then they said auctioneers have more power. They know how to talk to these judges, and there's nothing you can do. And then I say, let me now file in the system to appear in person, because I had come with a physical, initially I had come with a physical paper that I want to appear in person. You see, I'm bringing those papers physically. I didn't know what e-filing was. Now I take those things, I file them now in the e-filing. Then I appear physically. Then I'm in Nairobi now. I go to a place called High Rise. I sit there in a very quiet place with my friend there, and then we start listening to the proceedings. We listen to the cases, and then they reach my case. You know, my property was auctioned. I want to say that they did not serve me anything. They just ambushed me and took my property. Now I'm waiting. So they reach my case, they mention my case, and then I say I'm present, and then the claimant's advocates say they are present. And then the judge says, mute Gideon, mute Gideon. And I'm wondering what is happening. Why should I be muted? Then I confronted the judge. I said, I don't have an advocate. I'm appearing in person again. Why should I be muted? Then the judge said, no, talk to your advocate, talk to your advocate. Then they muted me. Then that is how the case went, and then everything went quiet. Now I said, I'm not following the property. Let me go to the Auctioneers Board, because this thing has been done in a very shoddy manner. Let me go to the Auctioneers Board. Now, I go to the Auctioneers Board and I demonstrate that the auctioneer did not serve me the statutory notices, the auctioneer did not follow the law to take my property, and they do not want money because I had money to redeem my property. I have 1 million shillings to redeem 4 million. Okay? So I say, I want to redeem my property. You know, I'm speaking before this property is sold. I say I have money, I want to redeem my property, but they don't want to release my property. So the guy within the auctioneer, I think it was there in the reception, he says, you can just file a complaint and then you will come back later. Then I say, it's okay. Then I file a formal complaint. I demonstrate that I was not served anything. I was not given any notice, even a notice of sale. I was not given. Everything is happening under the carpet. Then they said, now you will come on this date. Then I go home. Then I agree that my property has gone. But I want to follow up to see whether the law can be followed, because I wanted to go to the magistrates court to see whether I can be compensated, because the law says that the amount of money that the auctioneer can compensate you is unlimited. It depends on the property that they took. So I go back home. Then I wait until that date reaches. I go to the Auctioneers Board. Then I meet the board seated. Then I find we are seated there with a lawyer. Now the lawyer appears to know these people in the board, but they don't know me. Now I'm appearing in person. They say the judgment debtor is appearing in person, and the advocate is there even smiling and greeting these people in the board. They seem to know each other. Okay? Then the advocate, after greeting them with a smile, he hands them over a paper that says that dismiss his application because the matter is in another court. The matter is already concluded. The judgment has been done. The case is closed. But he says that the case is going on. Then the board tells me to respond to him. Then I get out of that place. I go and see another lawyer in Nairobi. Then I tell the lawyer, look at what the board is doing. Then this guy tells me, you are making a mistake. You can go to court, but first of all, give me 50,000. I think we can talk to the judge very well, and he knows how he will play around with the case. Don't go to the board. Then I tell him, I give you 50,000 to go and talk to the judge. Why? He told me that is how it works in Nairobi. There's no way I can succeed in that court without talking nicely to the judge. Then I told him, no, there is no way I'm going to talk to the judge like that. If it is justice, let me get it. If there's no justice, then let me not get justice. But I'm not going to buy. I then went to another lawyer. I narrated him the story of what happened in court and what is happening in the board. Then he told me, you are wasting a lot of time. Judiciary is a den of corruption. Just bring 50,000. We know how we will play around with this case, and then we will finish it. Then I told him, no. If that is the case, then just leave it. Let everything go. Let me go. Let me go and respond to the advocate of the auctioneer. Then we shall talk later. So I go to the board. Then I respond. I say the case was closed. There was no service. There was no even a notification of sale. The property was sold even before the allowed time, because they said you sell after 15 days. Now this one is selling in less than 15 days, and they are selling. I don't even know the valuation. They have not done the valuation. I had done the valuation myself. They have not done the valuation. Then they sold at a throwaway price. Then I am demonstrating with clear evidence to the board that this is what happened. And I went home. Then they told me, go and wait. We will call you during the judgment day. Now the judgment day nears, and then they call me that you are supposed to attend the board and we will issue our final judgment. I attend the board. Then I sit there. I am waiting to see what will they say, because I know the board is supposed to discipline an auctioneer if they don't serve statutory notices. And the case was closed and everything is okay. So I know I did the right thing. Even though I did it myself, I did not involve an advocate, and I appeared in person all through. So the most surprising thing the most surprising thing is this. It reaches a point to read the judgment, and one guy holds the paper like this within the board, and he reads, we agree with you that the auctioneer broke the law. We agree with you that we are a body mandated to punish the auctioneers. But we cannot continue with this case because there are other proceedings. Hey! Then I asked myself, should I appeal this decision? Then there was a lawyer there who told me there's no need to appeal. These people know how they play around. Then I said, okay. So it is not just the court. There's some game that I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm very sure about, but there's some game that happens behind the scenes, even in places like those ones. And then I realized I had lost the battle. Then immediately I got out of that board. I wrote a message to the lawyer who represented the auctioneer. Then I told him, I do not want anything to do with the court. You can, the remaining part of the case, we can see how we can handle it locally. I don't want anything to do with courts. Because I cannot bribe a lawyer. I cannot bribe judges. I cannot buy justice. I don't even know how that thing is done. So I do not want anything to do with courts again. Anything to do that I'm here, I'm sitting in a board somewhere to listen. No. If they can agree with me that the auctioneer broke the law, the auctioneer did not serve mandatory notices, the auctioneer ambushed me, the auctioneer did not give me a valuation report, the auctioneer sold my property at a throwaway price, and if all these laws were broken, and the board agrees that indeed we agree with you that all these laws were broken, then why are they saying that there are other proceedings when the case was closed more than a year ago? Which proceedings? Are there secret proceedings that I don't know? You see, that's what I was wondering. Then I said, no. I don't want to engage myself in things of buying justice. Please, the remaining issues we have, let us solve them outside court. I do not want anything to do with courts. And I wrote an email. I just don't want to show it because YouTube is usually very funny. If you show personal details and communications online, sometimes your videos can be demonetized and your channel can be suspended. So you don't share private information, and sometimes it all has to do with data protection. So I started understanding that we don't have justice in Kenya, that you can buy justice. And that is why I reflected now on the case of Oscar Sudi and the case of Defao. Oscar Sudi, a person who is very prominent, a prominent politician, a person with influence, a person who is well connected to the president. If a person like that can say, we leave it to God, we leave it to God, a member of parliament for Kapseret, you are leaving it to God because you cannot fight a fellow billionaire, then what about me, who is fighting people who are well connected, a system of lawyers and judges and Shylocks? I cannot. Then I looked at it and said, I am a small fish in this. These people are playing a game that I don't understand. I don't want to be part of it. And then if a person like Defao cannot go to court, he has lost property worth 30 million, but he's avoiding to go to court, then why was I going to court? Why was I going to the board to complain? It was pointless. So there was no need to go to the courts. Then I remembered other systems also. I remembered my case where IPOA did not handle my case well. Then I was told that I did not work well. You see? Police officers kidnapped me. The vehicle that carried me when I was kidnapped was GKB. I noted it down. It belonged to Ukwala police station. Police officers called me in Luanda. They robbed me and they took me to Yala. I was supposed to be murdered and they would throw me in Rivayala. These events happened and it is true, and I have documented evidence. I went to the police station to report to the OCS. Then the OCS told me, this case is beyond me. I cannot punish my juniors for doing this kind of thing. Kindly go to IPOA and I believe IPOA will help you. So I go to IPOA offices and I report this case with detailed evidence that police officers have done this and this and this to me. Kindly call this and this police officer. I was even mentioning real names, vehicle registration number, the phone numbers that were used. I put all those things into writing. Then I presented to IPOA. Do you know what IPOA did? It dismissed my application. And you know, I was with my dad. We are seated there. Right that time I was married, my wife was seated there and I was seated here with the detailed evidence. These are police officers who kidnapped me. This is how much they robbed from me. This is what they did to me. And this is how they left me. They almost killed me near Rivayala. Now I'm telling IPOA, handle this case. IPOA told me, just leave it. Just let it go. The DCIO, who I thought would be called because of this case, I think he was not called. All the police officers that were involved, I think they were never called. And then later on, I hear Raila Odinga saying that IPOA does not have the power to punish police officers because it has been compromised. Police officers have bought IPOA. You heard Raila Odinga say such a thing. Then I noticed, okay. So I realized if a police officer does something to you, there is a very slim chance that you can get justice. My brother, I'm telling you the truth. If a police officer does something to you right now, which is not murder, they just beat you up, rough you up, and then you get injured, you will not get justice from IPOA. We have been there. That body is compromised. And that is when I started understanding, okay, so these boards don't have integrity. These boards are just human beings. They also have financial problems. When they come to sit there, they also have issues. And so they can be compromised. These are not angels. So there is no justice in these boards, just like there is no justice in courts. So this is now I've started understanding the whole country has no justice. And I've not noticed it today. I noticed it sometimes back. And that is why when I was creating that video, when I was going to the Auctioneers Board, I said, I know about IPOA, it is compromised, but I was going to test the integrity of the board. Then I noticed, oh, it is not something we can say that you can get just. I cannot even appeal that decision. Why? Because I have demonstrated to the board with the clear and sufficient evidence with attachments that even, by the way, even the judgment that was given in court, when they were called to the Auctioneers Board, they fabricated the judgment. They brought their own judgment. They brought their own fake things. Then they served me physically. And that is when I started understanding, why doesn't a board like this have an online portal where you can file things? It is because having physical papers is easier for them to play around. A very big board like the Auctioneers Board does not have a portal where you can file things. It's a very big body, but for you to lodge a complaint, you have to travel physically with the papers, and so that they can sign. You cannot log into their site and then upload a complaint. You see, people like data protection, they have a portal where you can upload your complaint. And we have, even courts have e-filing system. And then you find that an Auctioneers Board does not have a portal. You can't upload anything there. Just physical papers, you take them there. Then the most painful thing is they say we agree with you, but there are other proceedings going on. Then what is your mandate as the board? Your mandate as the board was to license auctioneers, and after licensing, you have to monitor their conduct. You have to assess, have they followed the law? If they have not followed the law, you punish them. Then you are dismissing my application by alleging that there are other proceedings, yet there are no other proceedings. My friends, I will never go to court. I will never seek justice. I do not want any situation where I have to go to court to ask for justice. I don't want. If anybody wrongs me and it reaches a point where I have to go to court or to go maybe to things like those boards where people can sit down and then they can be compromised, I don't want. If I have issues with you and I am the one to take you to court, please, let us settle it outside court, and if we cannot settle it, then God will handle the rest. I don't want anything to do with courts. So I'm making this video to help Kenyans understand that the whole legal justice system is compromised. Judiciary is a den of corruption. Judges can be bought. Lawyers can be bought. Boards can be compromised. And when you go to seek justice, whoever has more money to compromise this system can defeat you. If a whole prominent politician who has direct access to the president can be defeated in court until he says, I have left it to God, then what about you? What about you? And you know, these people are very merciless. You know, they can do something to you as long as they benefit, and they have no heart to maybe say that we pity you, maybe to give you a favorable judgment. No. If they have decided we want to benefit from this person, they can bring you down. That is the system by which they operate. That you go down, we benefit. You rather go down, but we benefit. Now imagine a court has decided that Mandago, who participated actively in the process of acquiring this 1 billion, now he has a lot of influence in it, then it means he's free, and people whose money was lost, they have nowhere to go. Courts and the judiciary in general, it operates in such a way that once we have been compromised, whoever should get justice cannot get justice. And this is not limited even to this, maybe the boards and the courts. Something like data protection, for example. I went to data protection and then I said, my lender is sharing my financial details online. I don't have a problem with the loan. I have no problem with the court. The court has decided I pay 1 million and then I'm supposed to be served. I am not served. And then my property has been taken. Then I wake up one day, then I see that Gideon has conned so and so. A lot of my financial information is now online. Then I'm going to data protection and asking them, why is my lender sharing my private financial details online? Then I went home. I lodged a complaint. Then I'm receiving... Hey! I don't want to say what happened. Just know that these people can be compromised. Nobody can't be bought in this country. People can be bought. Bro, even in schools, principals are bought. If you go to an organization, the boss is bought. A lot of these jobs that people do, people are buying jobs. Anything in this country can be bought, including justice. And therefore, I have said in my life that if I have a problem with you, I don't want any court. Please, if I have a problem with you, come, let's sort it out in a very understanding manner. Let's handle things outside court. If you take me to court, I'm okay. I can come, but I will not bribe a judge. I will not bribe a lawyer, but I will know that if you have money to bribe them, then the case can go against me. But for me, I'm not coming to court to bribe anybody. If I have a problem with you, I leave it. But if I have to solve it, then come, let's talk. This is the problem we have. How do we handle this issue amicably without going to court? Okay? So I had made strides in my life, a lot of financial strides I had gone, but this was a major setback, and that is why I was coming to Nairobi to just see whether there's justice, but I found that there's no justice. The good thing is that the brain is still there, the strength is still there. I am this still smart person who acquired it, and I can still do it. I know myself, I'm talented. I know if I start fighting, I can fight for my goals and still achieve them. But to go to court, no. The lesson I have learned, the main lesson is that by the currently I don't borrow any money from anybody. I don't borrow money from anyone because I know what it can do. And this one we'll talk about it in another video because this is a special topic. Contentment is very important. That is why you see me doing very simple videos in the village, working hard on my goals, but living a very simple life because I do not want to elevate my lifestyle at the expense of my peace of mind. I do not borrow money. Do not lend me any money. I'm living in peace. And if I have financial struggles, I will deal with them. So that is how it went. Justice can be bought. There's no way you will get justice if you don't have money in this country. Thank you for listening to me. This is Giddy Akali, and we shall meet again in another video. Peace.